Okay, Ben, so compared to your picture, and I'll just go over all this. So when you're looking at your x-ray and then you're looking at what actually it means, like structure-wise, to separate your AC joint, um, there's several ligaments that can come into play. Okay, so this is your actual AC ligament, your acromioclavicular. This is your clavicle. This is your acromion. Okay, so it's actually part of your shoulder blade. So I would be really, really wanting you to focus on scapular stability, which is what you're going to be doing if you're doing the program I sent you. So if these guys are not connected, now your shoulder blade is still going to be connected via musculature, um, but really it also floats on your rib cage. So just take a look at like underneath. Sorry, so like nothing connects, shoulder blade to ribs, and nothing really connects shoulder blade to your actual arm except for, ligament structure in the shoulder. So you want all of the muscles that connect the shoulder blade to be super strong to take up for the fact that it's losing a little bit of stability from up top. And I'll show you the muscles here in a minute, but let's come back and actually look at the ligament structure. So we just looked at your AC ligament. This is called your coracoacromial ligament. So it's hard to tell because x-ray is not going to show it. It looks like you separated pretty much everything possibly. So you could have jacked with this guy. It actually connects scapula to scapula, so it's not as big of a deal. Might still be there, which is great. It's the roof of your rotator cuff, basically like house, if you want to look at it that way. All right, so AC joint separation, what does this mean? How bad is it? Do you have to have surgery? Not really. Some situations, yes, but some no. So there are quite a few ligaments up here that I want to go over. Let's talk about why you need strength of the entire shoulder complex to make up for an AC joint issue. But let's start right here. So this guy, this is your actual AC joint ligament. It connects your clavicle to your acromion, okay? That's why acromioclavicular ligament. Your scapula, your shoulder blade, sorry for lack of non-scientific terms, needs to be very stable in all of this because it is primarily held on, and by primarily I mean it is held on to the body by musculature, okay? So if you look underneath it, there's no bony connection to the ribs. There is no actual bony connection anywhere. It's all ligament structure. Big joint capsule that leads to the actual shoulder joint. But as far as connecting it up here, like that's your bridge. This is your bridge right here, right here. So when the AC joint gets separated, your shoulder blade can also feel kind of unstable or like your strength is not really there. So cranking that is key. So let's go over another ligament here. This one is actually just shoulder blade to shoulder blade. So it's called your coracoacromial ligament. Your coracoid process right here is the front of your shoulder blade. So this kind of serves as just a little bit of roofing, basically. It's the top roof of where your rotator cuff lives. It lives underneath that. Let's actually come back to the AC joint ligaments though. So your trapezoid ligament, what it does is, you can see pretty well in here, it comes to the bottom of your collarbone and then comes down to the front of your shoulder blade. Okay, so it keeps this guy from lifting up, right? This guy, your conoid ligament, it more so attaches, I'll show you this angle, a little bit more on the back side, underneath side of the collarbone, and then still comes down to your shoulder blade. This right here that is lit up is a bursa, which if you've torn these guys, this thing's not doing you a ton of good anymore. It's like a buffer between bones. Anywhere there's ligaments that are going to be frequently rubbing or tendons that frequently rub or anything like that, there's always a bursa. Like these are bursas in the shoulder. But all right, let's take a look at what happens when you tear these. Okay, so if you are gonna just like full-blown separate this guy. Well, that is not doing what I wanted to do. Hold, please. Okay, so if we're cutting away these ligaments, then we'll get rid of the bursa. All right, so we're basically going to end up just exposing the collarbone here. And then let's say we cut straight through those bad boys and that is no longer connecting. Let's just say you went ahead and you got all of them. It might not let me cut this one just because of my angle here. All right. So what happens next, if you have totally taken off what connects this collarbone to the shoulder, this guy is going to end up floating up. Like there is nothing to hold it down, so it's going to float up. Now, you do have muscles, okay? So let's just clear this. And let's go back to muscles. Let's zoom out just a bit. Obviously, we have muscles. So you have this guy right here, your subclavius muscle. So if you get really stinking sore underneath your collarbone, this guy's probably having to work like crazy because it's being stretched. It's used to being more supported, but these ligaments are now gone, and so it's working a lot. So you can do some self-massage on the kind of underneath side of your collarbone. And then let's take another look. All right. I'm going to end up taking some of these muscles off. Things that still connect shoulder blades, so this is good to look at, are your pec minor. So a lot of times people's pec minor gets just tight in general, but keep in mind now that it is a big structural component that is holding shoulder blade forward, where normally this also held it in place. So if you're sore into your pec, that can also be why. Let's just cut off this platysma here. This muscle on the front of your neck is called your platysma. We're going to get rid of upper trap and we'll get rid of it. All right. So your pec, it's not going to let me get rid of all of this, sadly. Maybe I can cut off. I want to show you where your pec attaches to your collarbone. Okay, so if you can see right here, we just took this last little bit of this muscle off out of our way. You can see that pec major attaches to the collarbone, okay? And so does your delt. So this is why I'm a big proponent of, if you don't need surgery, see what your body can do. You know, like you've got pec attachment here, you've got delt coming up and detaching. Those ligaments are no longer going to be there, so it's going to be popped up. But if you are really stinking strong, these other muscles can come in and they can really, I mean, aside from cosmetics, they're not going to pull that guy down, but they can stabilize this. You just have to be strong and you have to have the endurance for everything to hold together without causing you pain. So that is an overview. Hopefully that is helpful.